But welcome back to this next video, which is actually a repeat. I apologize. After I reviewed the previous video, after I've already posted it, I realized I think I could have done better. So I'm going to redo it with your permission, and hopefully we do a little bit better this time. Right, let's dive straight in. I've actually put it under manufacturing. It's a delivery sheet. I call it a delivery sheet. But please note, it's got nothing to do with the delivery sheet of the production system. There is built-in delivery sheet system that if you produce something from the finished goods store, it gets delivered and the stock gets managed and all those things. This was a completely separate little application which I did for someone, and it really is just a Doctype, a new Doctype, which obviously creates an underlying database table that stores information. That's all it is. So you enter information, it gets stored, and that's it. That's why there's no JavaScript in Python, because it doesn't require any data manipulation. So that's really all it is. I need to stress that. It's not like I'm doing something in the manufacturing module that doesn't exist. It's a totally separate thing. Now this brings us to the next important point. I should actually have created it in a separate module and created my own app. All right, because now if I update this server, this will be wiped. All right, because it's not part of the standard release of ERPNext. But I thought I'd make this video just to show you how relatively easy it is to create a Doctype, put down a few fields, structure a form really, and enter data there so that you can capture it. And this is really what this is all about. Okay, let me just show you this. I've used the naming convention CDS, Customer Delivery Sheet, and that's really all it is there. You might see a blank spot here and there on the screen. I'm just trying to blog out icons and company logos and stuff like that. It's stuff you enter and you say save. It gets saved in a table. That's all it is. All right. Now, how I've done it is, let me show you my block diagram rather. That's what it looks like. Delivery sheet. Whoops, I misspelled delivery. Forgive me. That's the main Doctype. And then there's a child table called delivery sheet items, and that refers to a Doctype called items delivery. Now, these ones you preset with your particular items. Now, there's no need to do it. You could just have created a table and its data entries. But I thought I'd make it like that so that the items always are spelt the same way and structured the same way. All right. So keep that in mind as I show you what I've done. Okay, first up, items delivery. Let's start at the bottom. Items delivery, there's all the items. So you just say create a new one and you enter the name. It's as simple as that. I'll show you the doc types just now. And then of course, there's a select system, which is that one there, which is also just a simple little, it lists particular systems and it's got one entry. All right, so rather simple. Now we get to the main Doctype called delivery sheet. And if you say new, there's all the fields you need to enter. Yes, select system. So if you click here, it lists all those. Now you could have made this a normal data field and enter it. But now somebody's going to spell it this way, and somebody else is going to spell it the other way. And it's going to make it difficult for searching. I'll show you the searching, which I've got just now. All right, and if you want to enter the items, you say add row, and there's your child table, which is also a drop down, and you select firmware and you enter everything there. All right, so that's why I did it like this, because of the next thing. Let me show you. Oops, no. There. I've added these search fields on top here, select system. So now I can say, or yeah, I don't have this detail here now with me. All right, well, actually, sales order number. If we say STY 00, it shows up that one. If it shows 01, then it doesn't show. So I've added those fields for filtering. And that's why it's better to have some of these fields preset so that you always enter the same, otherwise your search might fail you. And so how did I do all this? Let's go to Doctype. Doctype list. There we go. All right, let's start at delivery sheet. Keep the structure in mind, eh? Okay, delivery sheet. Okay, I've created it's a custom one. It's in the manufacturing module. And here I've entered. You can see most of these things are data fields. That, the select system, is a link. So it's a link that links to that doc type. Also a new doc type that I've created. And it's data, all straightforward data entry. And then, of course, delivery sheet items is a table that links to delivery sheet items. Okay, so, and as you build up that table, the entire table gets displayed. All right. Yeah. All right, next thing, well, select system. Let's have a look at that. Also, rather simple. Select system. It's a custom doc type, and there you've got a series naming entry, and then just system, which is a data entry. Very simple. And then, of course, select. What was the other one? Delete. Where are we now? Delivery sheet, which was delivery sheet items. There we go. So we go to delivery sheet items, and that's also just a description and a serial number. So 2 data entries, really. But this is a child table, so you've got to tick that. All right, I'll get into some of the fields stuff just now. And of course, this links to the items delivery. Okay, it's a link that links to items delivery. I'll show those entries to you just now. I just want to give you a broad overview, items delivery, and that also is just a data entry where you enter the items. Okay. Right, let's look at some of these things. Oh no, hang on. Let's go to the top again. Delivery sheet. There we go. Now, for instance, sales order number. All right, so there's the label, there's the name. You don't have to fill this in, it generates it automatically, but it's a data field. Okay, now you see I've got some of these fields ticked. In list view means in the list view of this doc type, it'll show. And this is particularly important because that places it on top when you see this. It places it, and that field will then be filterable or searchable in the top here. Okay, so that's rather important. Let's go back to our doc type, delivery sheet. Yeah, we've looked at that. And of course, this is now a link to that doc type. All right, so in the options, if you've got a link, you put the new doc type in the options. And of course, that's also in standard filter because I want to filter for that. And last but not least, delivery sheet items. This is now a table actually. All right, so that's a table, but it links to the delivery sheet items Doctype. So you can see it's rather simplistic to fill out these field entries. And of course, to build up these ones, all you do is you say add row. And of course, if you want to move their position, you can simply click on one and drag it, all right, to wherever you want. You notice this column break that breaks it up into 2 columns. All right, if you've got, that's what gives you these 2 columns. Okay, so your column break is entry, 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 column break, entry, entry. All right. And I think that's just about it. I just want to see, there's not really anything other than that. What did I do now? In the items delivery, for instance, yeah, it's just data entry and then delivery items. No. Delivery sheet. Oh, delivery sheet items. There we go. And that's also just a link. All right. Just one thing. If you want to delivery sheet items, let me just have a look. One of these tables. Where are we now? Delivery sheet items. Yeah. Just look out for these fields. Now, depending on what you want to achieve, you know, this auto name and the search fields determines what you see. For instance, when you, let me just create a new one here. You say new one and you click on here, what it shows here, if it's doc types or whether it's the actual item name, because if it prints a doc type, it's going to be meaningless. All right, so just make sure you get your item name in here. So or if you want the doc type, well, put the doc type in there. But play around with those 2 fields to make sure what you want to view when you click on here. Well, I think that's now it that I want to cover with you. Just once again, a little bit of a very simple little example of how you can quickly generate a doc type and save some information. And of course, this looks very, what's the right word? Almost pointless, but if you've got 100 entries here, your search fields will help you to quickly find a document where you can say, let me just switch on my filtering again here. And to say, this item, that sales order number, this customer number, that system, and here's the serial numbers, etc., etc. It's going to help you incredibly to search for information. That's it. A little bit of a small project I did. Thought I'd share that with you guys. See you in the next one.